let's talk about cancer. It's a word we all know, a word that carries a lot of weight. But what is it really? How do we fight it? And where are we headed? In the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down. Let's get right into it. First, I want you to just look at this number, 2,041,910. So what is that? Well, according to the American Cancer Society, that's the estimated number of new cancer cases we're expecting to see in the United States in 2025 alone. It's a huge number, and it's exactly why understanding this is so important. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the sheer scale of cancer's impact. Then we'll get into what cancer actually is. After that, we'll look at the modern treatment playbook, talk about the human side of care, and wrap up with a look at the future, which is getting incredibly personal. All right, first up, let's try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this disease and what it means for the country as a whole. Okay, let this one sink in. For the average American, the lifetime risk of getting cancer is nearly 40%. That's almost 2 out of every 5 people. It really drives home the fact that this isn't some distant problem. It's something that touches pretty much every family, every community. It's a shared challenge for all of us. And the impact isn't just physical or emotional, it's massively economic. Back in 2020, direct medical costs shot past $208 billion. But look at that second bar. That's over $21 billion in costs that patients themselves had to cover. Everything from copays to just not being able to work. It's a staggering burden that often goes unseen. But, and this is a really important but, this story is absolutely not without hope. In fact, the progress we've made is incredible. Thanks to decades of research, better treatments, and fewer people smoking, the cancer death rate has actually fallen by 34% since its peak in 1991. That translates to almost 4.5 million lives saved. That is real, tangible progress. So we've seen just how big the fight is, but what exactly are we fighting? Let's dive into the core biology of the disease itself. The official definition from the American Cancer Society is the perfect starting point. The key thing to realize is that cancer isn't just one disease. It's a whole group of them. The one thing they all have in common, cells that grow out of control and can potentially spread where they shouldn't. To really get it, you can think of cancers as having 5 main blueprints, all based on where they start in the body. Carcinomas are the most common. They start in the skin or the lining of our organs. Sarcomas grow from stuff like bone and muscle. Lymphomas and leukemias, they come from our blood and immune systems. And then you have germ cell tumors and blastomas, which come from reproductive or embryonic cells. This really shows you why treating cancer is so complex. It's not one single fight, it's hundreds of different ones. Okay, so with so many different types, how in the world do we fight back? Well, that brings us to the modern treatment playbook. You know, before a single treatment is chosen, doctors and patients have to answer what might be the most important question of all. What are we trying to achieve? Is the goal a total cure? Or is it to control the cancer's growth, maybe treat it more like a chronic illness? Or is the focus on managing symptoms to ensure the best quality of life? That one decision shapes everything that comes next. Now, once that goal is clear, doctors have this incredible, ever-growing toolkit. You've got the traditional pillars, right? Surgery, to literally cut the tumor out. Radiation, which zaps cancer cells with high-energy rays. And chemotherapy, which uses powerful drugs to kill fast-growing cells all over the body. But where things get really exciting are the newer, more precise approaches, like targeted therapy, which attacks specific weaknesses in cancer cells, and immunotherapy, which is just brilliant. It actually helps your own immune system recognize and destroy the cancer. But you know, the clinical stuff, the treatments, the science, that's only half the story. A cancer diagnosis creates ripples that affect an entire circle of people. This is the human side of it all. Being a caregiver is such an incredible act of love and support, but man, it can be absolutely draining, physically and emotionally. The friends, the family, the partners who provide that support, they are truly the unsung heroes of a cancer journey, and they face their own huge set of challenges. And that's why recognizing the strain is so critical. This shows some of the most common signs of caregiver burnout, things like fatigue, anxiety, even impatience, or just neglecting to take care of yourself. What's wild is how much these look like symptoms of a serious illness themselves. It just goes to show how heavy that toll can be if the support isn't there. This is why having coping strategies is so vital, not just for patients, but for their caregivers too.
And it's not about being a superhero. It's about being human. Simple things, like just admitting how you feel, accepting help when someone offers it, and focusing on the little things you can control can make all the difference. And maybe the most important one, giving yourself some grace through an unbelievably tough time.
All of this brings us to our final section, and this is where the broad fight against cancer gets incredibly specific. We're moving towards a future that is deeply, deeply personal.
Welcome to the next frontier, personalized medicine. Sometimes it's called precision medicine. The idea is simple, but it is completely revolutionary. Instead of treating lung cancer, doctors are starting to treat the specific genetic profile of your individual tumor. It's a treatment plan tailored right down to the DNA. This slide says it all. We're moving away from the old one-size-fits-all model. Think of it like a shotgun approach that can hit healthy cells too. The new way of thinking is more like a sniper rifle. It's about finding the exact genetic key that's driving a tumor and then using a drug designed specifically to fit that lock. It's smarter, it's more focused, and it's far more effective. And get this isn't science fiction. It's happening right now, thanks to some incredible tools. It starts with genomic testing, which basically reads a tumor's DNA to find its weaknesses. Then you have biomarkers, which act like signals to tell doctors which drugs will work. You've got amazing things like liquid biopsies, tracking the cancer with a simple blood test. And finally, AI is helping doctors make sense of all this data to create the perfect plan for each person. This leaves us with a final massive question to think about. For 100 years, the goal was to kill cancer, to eradicate it. But as we get better and better at targeting its unique drivers, are we moving from a war to a state of chronic management? As medicine gets this personal, our very definition of what it means to cure cancer might just change forever.